Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Orchis has been clapping the X-Men's cheeks and taking names. Names like Cyclops in X-Men 22 and Forge and Sync in X-Men 23. I mean, it's been crazy the amount of cheek clapping that's been going on. And I wish I could say it's going to end in this one, but it's not. My name is Dorian, this is SCN Comics, and we are continuing our coverage of X-Men with number 24. Shout out to my homie Ghost Ruble. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If there is a day one on this channel, it will be him. He is a great supporter of the channel, great wealth of comic book knowledge, and I'm so happy that I have him as a supporter. I welcome his great comments, and I also welcome his criticism because it's coming from a good place. Again, I just want to give my homie a shout out. Our story starts off at the Colorado Rockies, where we have young Cable who just did a bike slide and he's at a Orchis facility. Now, the reason why he's there is because there are some very bad things that are about to happen at the 3rd annual Hellfire Gala. He wants to prevent that. Now, he gets in easy enough, probably too easy. So his AI is like, I sense no life forms and I should at least sense some kind of insects or bacteria, so I'm being jammed. And as soon as she says that, Myra X and Omega Sentinel jump out of nowhere, got their guns drawn on Cable. You know, he got his guns drawn on them. But Nimrod drops from the ceiling and grabs Cable, and once Nimrod gets his paws on you, it's a wrap. As we see on the next page, because he pulls Cable's robot arm apart, and then Dr. Stasis comes out of nowhere and freezes Cable as he goes, "All right, kid, you're on ice." But let the record show that I still say we should have killed the little shit. And then Myra X is like, no, you killed one Cable and a whole bunch more is going to come out of nowhere looking for that Cable. So the Myra X is like, I helped mine in the bargain, now you need to hold up yours. And Dr. Stasis is like, who cares about Manifold? And then Myra X jumps all over Dr. Stasis. I mean, got him in a chokehold and everything, talking about, look, Manifold is a problem. If he lives, humanity loses. We need to kill Manifold. By the way, Orchis just added another pair of cheeks to the wall of clap. So on the next page, we have Destiny telling the same thing to Rogue, that Mutanum dies with Manifold, and that she needs to be the one to protect Manifold. And Rogue doesn't want anything to do with her. She doesn't want the responsibility. And she's like, why don't we just tell the X-Men? And Destiny's like, we can't. There's a great betrayal amongst the X-Men, so we have to keep this to ourselves. As long as you protect Manifold, then Mutanum will keep going. If not, we're going to lose a war and we will all die. So now it switches to Game World, where POGG UR-POGG, I think I said that right, is tearing up the place, and they send out a distress call, but the X-Men just happen to be on their way up there for some R&R, so they walk into this craziness. So Sync taps into Colossus's power and grabs Talon and does a fastball special. And then Jean's like, well, it looks like our business is going to have to wait. And then Scott's like, nah, I think the team can handle it. And then our alligator friend, because I really don't feel like seeing his name again, pretty much backhands Talon, and he's like, maybe not. So the Iceman comes down, pretty much calls him Godzilla, and he uses ice power to kind of grab his sword. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, he's a rhyming alien lizard thing. But he's not working alone, because he has a bunch of other little lizards that are pretty much robbing the casino blind. And now we have reached my favorite part of this book. Forge is pretty much getting broken down like a math problem. I mean, he is having a crisis, and it's fantastic. So before I read this verbatim, because it's worth reading verbatim, let me just explain that in the last issue, Forge got pimp smacked almost to the afterlife. Like, I thought he was done. Like, done. The X-Men thought he was done. Like, Scott was like, Forge's dead. Forge is dead. How he survived, I do not know, but it was brutal. So with all this craziness going around him, Forge decides to get some therapy from the bartender. All right, I'm gonna try to use my best depressed voice I can. Don't laugh at me. So what do you got that's high voltage? Shouldn't you be helping? I'm easing into it. Nice. Yeah. When you can do the kind of things that I can do, sometimes the worst mistake you can make is to leap right in and make things. I recently was humbled by a machine because you took a backhand from God. I'm sorry, I got that character. Thought because they always bent to my will that they always would. That normalcy bias nearly cost me my life. And honestly, it's really stuck with me. Truer words has never been spoken. It's got me rethinking some things. But maybe that's to be expected, you know? And then the bartender's like, okay, look, maybe you could make a little machine to stop the monster, and then we could talk. Let me tell you something. Ain't no amount of talking gonna get that pimp smack out of his head. So now Magic is fighting the lizard, and she's also starting to rhyme like the lizard. She goes, I'll kick you in your gizzard, lizard. Since we last met, I killed a cannibal wizard. And then he goes, your rhymes is crime. I don't know why he's talking trash, because his suck too. So Sync, still using Colossus's power, grabs the dude and gets thrown out of the club. No cap. Thrown into space. Which he goes, don't worry guys, I'm still in the Colossus form. So I'm okay. But can somebody please come get me? So Sync, like Forge, is having a bad few issues here. So Magic, Talon, and Firestar kind of team up to finally subdue the dude. Come to find out, it's like a mech suit that he's wearing, and there's a smaller dude way deep inside of that thing. He finally comes out because Magic, her cross is made of Mysterium, and he's willing to give up everything that he was about to steal to get that Mysterium. So the Forge finally comes out of his funk, and he's like, well, I guess I'm a jeweler now, because I guess he made the cross for Magic. And he's like, look, I can give you a little gift, but you gotta promise me some things. You gotta drop everything that you stole. You gotta promise never to fight the X-Men. And down the road, might be never, I might come to you and I might ask you for a favor. How he go from Fredo to all of a sudden he's Michael Corleone? I mean, this dude did a 180 real quick. So the day is saved, Magic gives up the Mysterium and then teleports the dude up out of there. The rest of the X-Men, they decide that they don't feel like staying there no more and they dip out, but Jean and Scott stay. So Jean and Scott have been on the outs for a whole bunch of issues now and nobody knows why. Finally, we get some clarity on it. So they're in the astral plane and they're talking to each other. And Jean goes to Scott and she's like, you helped build a treehouse. And he goes, yeah. He's like, you're proud of it? He goes, yeah, I'm real proud of it. She goes, yeah, and I told you about it. Well, I helped build a whole planet. She's talking about Mars, you know, terraforming Mars and putting a rock on there. And she's like, and you never step foot on it. And he's like, no, I've been there once, I think. And he goes, no, I've never been to a Rocco. And she asks, why? And he's like, well, you know, I don't know if you've been around the humans lately, but it's like we're already at war, which he's not lying, but it's still an excuse. And he's just pretty much saying how, you know, he's just worried that the war has already started and he feels like the mutants are already losing it, which they are. She pretty much is like, look, you're a great captain of Krakoa, and if anybody suited to deal with this situation, it's you, because you think just like them. Me, I'm gonna go tend to our wounded friend, which is Polaris, the only true child of Magneto. Which I still hate that retcon, but it is what it is. And she is still grieving about the loss of her father. And Jean's is there to comfort her because Jean's there for everybody. I mean, everybody. So lastly, we got Magic meeting Sunfire, and she's going to transfer him to Otherworld so that he can rescue one of these mutants from Araku that's been gone since like Ten of Swords. Now, Otherworld is a weird place. Like, magic power doesn't like to work there. But Sunfire's like, all right, I'm gonna go find this guy, and then afterwards I should be in and out. Shouldn't take me long. Turn the page. 10 months later, we got Sunfire. Looks like he's in a snowstorm, and he found Red Root, but it doesn't look like they're gonna make it out of there. So again, it's looking bad for our X-Men.